The fluorescent lights of General Hospital buzzed like angry wasps, flickering faintly as Grace stumbled through the sliding doors. Her swollen belly pressed uncomfortably against the damp fabric of her faded Ankara dress, the once vibrant yellow sunflowers now dull and cracked from endless washes. 6 months pregnant, and every step felt like carrying a sack of stones. Name? The nurse didn't look up from her computer. Grace. Grace Michael, she whispered, clutching the counter to steady herself. A sharp pain shot through her lower back, stealing her breath. Sit. Wait. Grace sank into a plastic chair, its legs wobbling under her weight. The waiting room reeked of antiseptic and despair, a crying toddler with a swollen cheek, an old man coughing blood into a rag, a teenage girl rocking a silent baby. Grace's fingers instinctively brushed her belly. Just a stomachache, she told herself. Stress. She'd been scrubbing toilets at 3 different offices this week. Maybe the bleach fumes. Grace eased. The nurse led her to a cramped examination room. A poster of smiling pregnant women. Healthy mother, healthy baby, hung crookedly on the wall. Lie down. The doctor, a tired-eyed woman with a stethoscope draped around her neck, pressed cold gel onto Grace's stomach. The ultrasound wand glided, and a rapid thump-thump-thump filled the room. Baby's heartbeat is strong, the doctor said, but her frown deepened. But these pains, we need tests, blood work, urine. Now. Grace's throat tightened. How much? The nurse handed her a slip. 85,000 naira. Her heart stopped. 2 days earlier, Grace had counted the money 3 times. 87,300 naira. Every naira earned from scraping burnt pots in wealthy Ikoyi kitchens, braiding hair at the market, and washing endless piles of laundry. She'd hidden the stack in a cracked tea tin under her mattress, her hospital fund. Auntie, please, she'd begged her Aunt Neka that morning. Don't touch it this time. The baby. This baby. Neka had scoffed, puffing on a cigarette. The one from your wayward lifestyle? You think I'm your bank? She later went to bank to deposit it in her account. Back in the hospital, Grace's hands shook as she opened her mobile banking app. She'd memorized the numbers. 87,300 naira. Balance 0. No. She jabbed the screen, her breath coming in shallow gasps. The app mocked her with its cheerful green logo. 0. Madam, pay now or leave, the nurse said, tapping her pen. Others are waiting. Grace stumbled out of the room, the ultrasound slip crumpled in her fist. She dialed Neka's number, her sweaty fingers slipping on the keys. Ring. Auntie, my money. Grace, then, Neka's voice wavered. We tried to invest in it. Julius said the Chelsea club was sure. You gambled it? Grace's scream echoed in the sterile hallway. Heads turned. Sure. You'll shame me, Neka hissed. How was I to know Chelsea will lose? It's your fault. If you hadn't opened your legs for that. Grace hung up. The walls closed in. The baby kicked violently, as if sensing her panic. She staggered toward the restroom, bile rising in her throat. The flickering bulb cast ghoul-like shadows on the chipped tiles. Grace slumped against the sink, her reflection a nightmare, hair matted with sweat, eyes wild. She turned on the tap, splashed water on her face, but the pain roared back, sharper now. A wet warmth trickled down her thighs. No, not yet. She fumbled for her phone, dialed 112. Help my baby. The line went dead. Her legs gave out. She slid to the floor, the world tilting sideways. The last thing she saw was the ultrasound photo fluttering from her grip, a tiny, blurry hand waving from the grainy screen. 6 months earlier. You're pregnant, the clinic nurse had said, her voice flat. 8 weeks. Grace had stared at the peeling walls of the free clinic in Makoko, the words echoing like a death sentence. The old fan creaked above, doing nothing to cut the swampy heat. "You want to remove it?" the nurse asked, snapping gum. Grace's hand flew to her stomach. His face flashed in her mind. Tunde Adebayo, CEO of Lagos Holdings, his Rolex glinting as he tossed 200,000 naira on the pantry floor. "Help! Somebody!" A nurse burst in, her scream muffled by the sound of Grace's ragged breathing. Blood pooled beneath her, seeping into the cracks of the tiles. "Get a gurney. Now!" The teenage girl with the silent baby crossed herself. The old man muttered, "Nawa for this country." Grace floated in and out of consciousness, bright lights, shouting voices, hands lifting her onto a stretcher. A masked face loomed above. "We're losing them both. Get the operation room ready."
Rain.
So much rain. 10-year-old Grace clutched her mother's hand at the burial site, her lace socks sinking into the mud. 2 coffins, both her parents died in a ghastly accident. Nneka, draped in a too bright pink gelly, had yanked her away. "Stop crying. You're my problem now." Machines beeped. Cold metal pressed against Grace's skin. Push. Push. But Grace was back in that pantry, Tun's whiskey breath hot on her neck, his gold cufflink digging into her wrist. "Don't scream." Heart rate dropping. A thin, angry wail pierced the chaos. "It's a boy." Grace's eyelids fluttered. A tiny bundle, red and squirming, was placed on her chest. "He's early, but he's fighting," the doctor said. "You both are." Grace traced his wrinkled face, his father's nose, her mother's stubborn chin. "Kola," she whispered, "my strength." Moonlight spilled through the barred window. Kola slept in a plastic bassinet, his tiny chest rising and falling. Grace's fingers hovered over her phone. One text. "Unknown number. I know what my brother did. Let me help." She deleted it. 6 months earlier, Grace stood at the gates of the Collins estate in Victoria Island. The job flyer had said urgent, cleaner needed for a high-profile event. A security guard looks down on her. "You sure you're not here to beg?" "I can clean," Grace said, hoisting her bucket. The mansion was a palace of marble and gold. Crystal chandeliers dripped from ceilings taller than churches. Guests in sequined igbatas and silk iro and bubas laughed, their perfumes clashing with the smell of jollof rice and roast goat. Grace scrubbed champagne flutes in the steaming kitchen. Her back ached, but the pay, 15,000 naira for one night, would pay my bills.
"You."
"Girl." She turned. A woman in a silver gelly towered over her, diamonds glittering at her throat. "Mrs. Collins," the matriarch. "The pantry's flooded. Fix it." Grace knelt, mopping spilled champagne. The door creaked. "Who's there?" Tunde Collins stumbled in, his navy igbado untied, reeking of whiskey. "CEO of Lagos Holdings. The man from the news." "You're new," he slurred, eyes glazed. Grace stood. "I'll leave, sir." He blocked the door. "Stay." His grip was iron. "Quiet," he hissed, cufflinks digging into her wrists. Grace bit her tongue till it bled. "Don't scream. Don't lose this job." Afterward, he tossed a wad of naira and a diamond necklace on the floor. "For your silence." She waited till his footsteps faded, then crawled to the sink. The water ran pink. Back to the hospital. "Miss Michael?" Grace jerked awake. A young doctor stood by her bed, his white coat crisp. "Dr. Femi Collins, Tunde's brother." "Your son needs observation," he said gently. "But you're malnourished. When did you last eat?" Grace hugged herself. "I'm fine." "You fainted from anemia. Let me help." "Why?" Her voice cracked. "Your family's done enough." Femi's smile faded. He placed a business card on the bed. "Call me before it's too late." Kola's monitors beeped steadily. Grace unfolded Femi's card. "Consultant surgeon renal." Her finger hovered over his number. A commotion erupted outside. "Where's she? Where's my son?" Tunde Collins stormed in, Gucci loafers squeaking on the linoleum. His gaze locked on Kola. You kept him, he breathed. Grace shielded the bassinet. Touch him and I'll scream. I'm not here to fight. Tunde ran a hand through his hair, rumpled for once. The news, they found security footage. From the party. Grace's stomach lurched. The pantry.
The blood.
I didn't know, he said hoarsely. The alcohol. I'm sorry. Sorry. Grace laughed, sharp and broken. You think sorry feeds him? Sorry buys his milk.
Tunde pulled out a checkbook.
Name your price. The numbers blurred. 5 million Nigerian nairas. 10 million Nigerian nairas. Enough to vanish, start over. But Grace tore the check in half. Your money is cursed. Gold shines, but character is priceless, her mother had said, braiding Grace's hair before school. Never trade your soul, child. Femi leaned against his Range Rover, watching Grace limp out with Kola. Change your mind. She hesitated. Why help? Because I know what my brother is, Femi said quietly. And what you've survived. 6 months later, drumbeats shook the Collins estate. Grace stood under a canopy of gold and crimson, Kola giggling in her arms. Her osso oak gown shimmered, a rebel's choice, not the white lace Tun's mother had demanded. Tun knelt, offering a velvet box. I don't deserve you, but let me try. The drums erupted. Women ululated, showering them with leaves. Tun kissed Kola's forehead, tears mixing with the baby's laughter.